Alright, we're back on Mimas, and as usual, we have a little problem. So I'm looking at the soybeans and it says they're growing poorly towards seeding. So yes, they've actually have soybeans right now, but the next stage is to seed. But we want to figure out why. The temperature is pretty good, the pressure is good. It means there's some kind of problem, and it's a little tough to figure out just by looking at it if you're not sure. One thing I checked, I hadn't mentioned this before, soybeans are one of those weird ones where they actually want a little bit of nitrogen. Not all plants do. And it requests 1%, but we have over that. So that's not the issue. But what I just printed off here is what's called a cartridge plant analyzer. So we're going to equip that. I tried having a volume pump there, but that didn't work, and I'll kind of explain why. Oh, speaking of, let's go ahead and flip some gas into there. That'll give us a little bit of power, but also some more base gas once it's done processing. So we're going to scroll down here until we find a problem, and there it is. Darkness deficient, which means it hasn't been getting enough darkness. I don't think this will work, but let's try turning these off. Oop. There's a little bit of a delay before it actually turns off there. Okay, still dark deficient. Yeah, it's not saying they're in darkness, so that's not going to help. But what will help is if we change the code. Okay, that's what I thought. I was hoping I'd be able to click and drag that, but nope. So import. And I'm just going to change this so it's 60 rather than 45, and change this so that it's 0. So that means it will be off for 120 degrees, which I should have ran the numbers on that. 120 divided by 360 is a third, obviously, and then multiply that by 60. That would mean, oh no, we don't want to multiply by 60. We want to multiply it by 20. So now it looks like it's off for 6 1/3 minutes. Or sorry, 6 2/3. So 6 minutes 40 seconds, I believe that would be the conversion. Yeah, hopefully that'll do. Now it hasn't started getting damage yet, so they're still all right. I think the illumination stress needs to get higher or something. It's been a long time since I've actually had a plant get damaged from too much light. Can't even remember the last time, so maybe it never has. Anyway, we'll come back and check on those. They should be all right. Now, I think I had mentioned one of my next projects here is that I'm going to be ramping up the cooling power in here. So let's get on top of that. We're going to print 20 stellite glass. So stellite is one of our super alloys. The relevance will be shown kind of later. Large Extendable Radiator is what we're going to go for. I haven't really seen many people show these off, so I'm a little... I don't know if excited is the right word, but I'm curious to see if anybody kind of sees this and emulates it. Be kind of neat. So yes, I loaded it up to print 4 of those, and there's a little bit extra invar because there's one issue here. Let me make sure I don't need to print anything else from there. Nope, looks like we're good. So, large radiator. Large Extendable Radiator, and we're going to scroll down and look here. It has a connection for data. I think it has maybe a little bit of power usage. I'm not even sure. The symbol I think just has data, so I'm not positive whether it uses any power or not. But the important bit, the reason we came in here, is that it has pipe liquid input and pipe liquid output, which means it's not gas, which our current system, if you can kind of see in here, uses gas pipes. So that means that we need to replace those. Now I checked, and there's not a variant for the medium radiators that has liquid input, so we have to go with there it is, medium radiator liquid. So we're going to grab this extra 20 steel I set aside, and we're going to print 4 of those. Yep, we've got enough copper too. Good. Okay. As you can see, I prepared some goodies to come with us. We are going to need one thing also. We're going to need to prime it with some gas, and I'm going to use oxygen because oxygen has a very low freezing point and a fairly high specific heat capacity. So yeah, 21.1. Latent heat's only 0.8. You know, another option would be volatiles. Volatiles is that a little less? Yeah, a little less specific heat capacity, but it has 1 kilojoule rather than 0.8 kilojoules. The problem is, if we look at the graph here, I don't know if I've kind of mentioned these before. We've got to actually worry about when it turns into a liquid and all. So volatiles, you can see here, turns into a liquid much higher in temperature, and then freezes at a higher temperature compared to oxygen, which is important. We want to try and get it as much cold as we can. Now another option would be nitrogen, which has I'd say maybe a better curve, but let's bring that one up. You can see it only has 20.6 joules of specific heat capacity, but only 5, more importantly, only 5 kilojoules of latent heat. So specific heat capacity, what that is it's the amount of energy it needs to absorb to change 1 degree Kelvin. Now latent heat is the amount of heat energy that it needs to absorb to go from a liquid to a gas, or to release to go from a gas to a liquid. And that's kind of important here. That's why I had why aren't we going? Oh, it is going down. It's just taking a sec. So yeah, that's what we're trying to fix here. Is this here? I must have ran some through recently enough to where it's not going down very quickly. But yes, when I had this volume pump here, I was pumping all the gas into here before the pollutant had a chance to condensate. So when it got into this pipe, the pollutant started condensating, and then the condensation valve would siphon off the liquid pollutant, but the liquid pollutant, when it condensated, would release all of its heat energy into the surrounding gas. So, you know, I pumped some in here at about, I think it was 25 degrees Celsius, because that was my goal, and I wasn't thinking ahead, because it was still a gas. So it compressed in this pipe, and when it compressed, it started condensating. That's what this curve is. So yeah, let's go ahead and bring up pollutant just so we're looking at that one. And I'm sorry, this is a really like complex thing, the whole phase changing, but it's important to deal with now. So yeah, right about there, 24 degrees. It was 25, but oh, there it is. Okay. So at a little over 3 megapascals, 3.647 megapascals, um, when when it reaches that pressure at 25 degrees, pollutant will um, condensate. So that's when it was in this pipe, it was reaching pressures probably above that, and then yeah, releasing its heat energy. Um, it was condensating well, so that was good. But yeah, then I ended up pulling in a bunch of super hot gas. It wasn't too bad because I did kind of want to raise it. We're at 23 right now. I'd kind of like to get the greenhouse up to 25. Speaking of greenhouse, let's go ahead and take a look at them. Okay, they're in darkness. Good. It says growing poorly, but the whole growing poorly thing doesn't necessarily update right away. Sometimes it takes some time. So yeah, you can see the illumination stress is going down. The light deficiency and the darkness deficiency stuff is kind of calculated and put into illumination stress. Okay, so let's go ahead and go outside and start setting this stuff up. I just feel like I'm forgetting something, but I get that feeling a lot. Oof. It's sometimes a little tough to get these through here. Okay, so let's put our suit back on and cycle. Every now and then I should check that pipe. So I knocked out a window here so we can just kind of float on out here. Whoa. For now, we're going to just set this right down there. Oh, shoot, I forgot to grab a portables connector. Okay, we do have some work to do here, though. So I won't worry about that just yet. I actually equipped the belt because we do have some ores down here. So I've got 4 of them, and they take about a block space. I don't know why. Oh, that's right. You can't dig up into those grades. Shoot. Okay. Now I'm gonna try to avoid exposing too many that have only 1 build stage. I'm gonna try and keep them to 2 build stages because one of the features of the large extendable radiators is that you can actually capture heat from the sun. And since we want to use this in a cooling system, it wouldn't make sense to warm it. So we're just gonna try and avoid that. Another part about it is that these radiators are very tall. They actually take over two block spaces. So we're going to expose a 3rd layer here. And yep, you'll just have to trust me that this is 3 block spaces. Each basically, frame block space is 2 of these voxels in width. Okay, in a minute here, I should check the temperature. So that's good. 1, 2, 3. All right, looks like we're going to have to expose another one. And if they capture any sunlight, I'll just have to weld those up. looks like those are all dug out nicely. Yep, probably doesn't matter. I probably don't need to be too OCD about clearing the terrain. You do have to be careful on some planets if there's little lingering bits, because it'll still occupy that spot, and it'll block. Yeah, let's grab that cartridge. It'll still occupy that slot and atmospheres. It'll prevent. Oh, yep, we gotta go in there. It'll prevent atmosphere from being in that. You can actually use terrain to keep a pressurized area, but there's kind of a bit of a mismatch to where sometimes it doesn't seem like it's quite right. Okay, so yep, we gotta get this stuff out of here now. It's a little colder than I had wanted it. Now, yes, those who are astute will go, hey, you're pumping it into, your base gas. But I did connect a condensation valve over here. Problem is, I don't think that we're gonna be able to reach the right pressure. So what we're gonna have to do is come in here and start sucking in some of the base gas we have collected. There we go. Now we're at the 3 megapascal mark, a little further just to get it going. Now let's get rid of the UI so you can kind of see a little better here. There we go. So yep, down here you can see it's turning the pollutant gas. It's got a condensation icon into pollutant liquid, and our stress is going up quite a bit because gas pipes don't like to have liquid in them. We'll just open that up. I intentionally had it closed because if I were to bring in colder gas, there would be a potential for carbon dioxide to condensate, or it could start condensating in here. Because yeah, it does still go down in temperature here, and if it goes down too far, some of that carbon dioxide could turn into liquid, and then when I pump it into here, it'll stay liquid, and then it will go up into there. And we want that to be pure pollutants if possible. And yeah, you can see even I've got a the pipe colored yellow. Yellow is what we're going to use for pollutants. Yeah, and then sorry, we're now kind of stuck in here because as soon as I were to well, actually, I suppose I could go out. Yeah, okay, we're good. And I'll release this again quick and go ahead and close it again. The stress shouldn't get too bad. We're just going to leave that pump on, even though it's going to suck a whole bunch of power, which we're not great on, but we shall try to deal with it. So let's go out there and get these radiators set up. So I think it was this one. Nope. And yes, by this, you can assume part of my plan is to have kind of a undercarriage, if you want to call it that, to the base. I think I'm going to clear out one more. I don't want to snuggle it right up against there. So yeah, we're going to do one more block out this way. So yeah, we got the data cable facing out. We've got the liquid pipes merging together, I'm just going to go ahead and straight up merge the input and the output. I don't think it terribly much matters. I've been noticing on the other radiators that we have set up that even though it has an arrow, it's not strictly an output or input. It shares both directions. So yeah, I'm not sure whether that's an oversight on the devs or if there's something I'm missing. That's entirely possible. Okay, I think right there. Yep, there we go. Now it should be nice and clear. There. Okay. Now let's start welding these up. One problem is before recording, As didn't grab steel sheets, and he should have. He should have known better. Okay. So yep, first build state, weld steel sheets to them. You can say, what was that, 2 per? But, oddly enough, you don't need to weld the stellite glass on. You just place it. There we go. All right, the controls here, this is to get it to rotate. That's in case you want to face or avoid the sun. So that's one thing I could do, is that if the solar radiation does start hitting these, I could just create an automation script that would rotate them. So like at noon, we'd rotate it 90 degrees, and then it would, it wouldn't be facing that. These edges don't do any of the cooling. Huh, strange. Rather than being 0 now, it's 360. I think that's just a rounding error. Okay, so let's go ahead and click these. You can see that opens them. And now they will actually start doing cooling. Of course, we don't have any gas yet, so technically they won't. Link up all the T-junctions first, and then we'll come back and connect the straight ones. Oh, is this gonna be a pain in the butt for us? Oh, I had it for a second there. Okay, if I look at, there we go. And there. All right, for these, I'm just gonna should have done this from the beginning.
Hydration critical.
Okay. Now I'm not sure offhand where we're going to be bringing in the gas from up above. Probably right here. Probably connected in there. We'll just do a merge afterwards, so it's no biggie. So we'll just do regular T-junctions, and then I'll just use the wrench to splice in a new one. Alright, we've been inside a couple times, I think, or at least once, and we forgot to grab one of the portables connectors. is... Shoot. Okay, well, hopefully that pollutant will won't be too bad. Fortunately, we've got kind of a partial airlock there. Now, if you have very low quantities of gas, you don't necessarily have to worry about it because, okay, still darkness deficient, but they are seeding, so we don't so much care. I'll fix that script later, but let's go ahead and harvest. And I'll plant these again later. You can actually use the crop as a seed. You don't have to use exclusively seeds. But yeah, we'll... Come on. There. We'll fix you later. Oh, atmosphere. You can see there's no pollutant in here. Yeah, if it's low enough, it spreads too far and basically gets rounded down to nothing. Oh, well, that would have helped if I'd done that. But yeah, I did want to try and prevent CO2. Just not thinking ahead again. There we go. Okay, so in here, let's go ahead and export all that gas. Or actually, not necessarily all of it. We want to keep some so that the airlock will work still. Portables connector. Oop. Ah, getting ahead of myself. There we go. That's my helmet. Grab some extra pipes just in case I need them. Okay, so we're gonna get some oxygen into here. Let's see. Yeah, so we're gonna connect the liquid there. That's where we'll connect the gas pipe for now. Let's go ahead and do that. And we don't want to use the gas in here because it's mixed. It has nitrogen and oxygen, which means one of them could end up freezing. In my testing, I was trying to see if freezing would be much of a problem, and I think the way it works, don't necessarily quote me on this because I'm pretty much just gonna have to figure it out as we go. I think what happens is that it doesn't go to freezing for the gas that's in it, which is a little surprising. But yeah, if the gas does start freezing, or gas and liquid, we can just automate the script to close these, and then they'll stop. Now let's link up this liquid pipe. All right, there. And getting gas into a liquid pipe is a little strange, but we can do it. What we use is called a pressurant valve. And yes, we do have to kind of worry about liquid pipes. Liquid pipes can only carry 6 megapascals in them. And in addition, we have to account for increased pressure due to thermal expansion. You know, as that room warms up, it's gonna expand the gas in the liquid pipes, um, and possibly hit that 6 megapascal mark. So we're going to start with 3. My guess would be that the portable tank that I brought out isn't even going to get that far. But it's just a good precaution to set it to 3 anyway. Okay, I'm going to turn that on, connect up the wire. This is just an easy way of getting power out here. Okay. Oh, it might actually get there. All right, yeah, you can see. Oh, I'm looking at the pipe network in millijoules of radiated heat. No, this is where we want to look. I scroll out and back in so the tablet resets its position. Yeah, it was 6 kilojoules of for a bit there. Yeah, you can see it gets quite cold quite quickly. So we should be pretty well on track. Okay, let's go ahead and turn that off. Yeah, one problem is it's also pressurizing. Oh, nice. We have a lot of oxygen left out here. Yeah, it's getting colder, so it has more capacity because it's condensing, not condensating, condensing. Okay. Now another problem. We have to remove this and the one inside, but I'd prefer not to waste the gas. So let's go back inside and handle that. It looks like I'm going over time already. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set up one of the... Oh, I need a active vent. So yeah, I'm gonna set up one of the liquid radiators, and then just kind of end the session here, end the episode, and then just complete everything off screen. So yep, we're gonna put one here, one here, one here, and then we'll replace that one. All right, what I want to do is I want to bring this gas out here and just release it into the base. So we'll do that quick here. I'm only using insulated pipes to start with just because that was an insulated pipe, so to merge it I had to use insulated. Because yes, so we're going to release some pretty cold gas into the base here. Just check here quick. Yep, nitrogen and oxygen. There was some other gases. There was even some volatiles from this. It didn't do a perfect burn. So I just took a flare and tossed it in this room, and it lit things on fire. Okay. Nothing tragic happened. It mostly just heated things. If it was higher pressure or much higher temperature, it probably would have set things on fire, but it was all right. It was a pretty minuscule amount. I did that the wrong way. Saw the air flows. All right. So I'll plant new soybeans. I'll finish up that setup. And then I think our next big project is that we're going to work on the H2 combustor. Probably. We'll just have to see how I feel before the next episode. All right. Well, we'll see you then. Have a good one.